What up, YouTube? What is good? Listen, y'all ever be so hyped to do something and then you get a text or something that tries to be frank, F up your mood. And before, I used to be the person that would respond and do all of that, but now I've became the person. I'm literally like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to respond? How should I respond? And give me the words, or just be quiet and ignore it. So I'm practicing knowing when to respond. What we talked about last week, to think more before we respond, to make sure we have all the facts, right? And in this particular situation, I'm part of the facts. I'm part of the conversation. I know exactly what's going on. And I have to figure out, how do I respond? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I'm going to figure it out how to respond now. And then I realized, no, this is not going to interrupt the great feeling that I have currently to continue to do what I need to be doing. I had made a post a few days ago saying I wasn't put on this earth to be liked. I was put on this earth to do what I need to do. Okay? And that just goes back to everybody not gonna like you. I don't care how nice you are, how sweet you are, how much you do for other people, all of that. No. Everybody ain't gonna get it. Everybody not gonna understand it. And it's not meant for them too. So yeah, this is happening to me in real time right now. But I'm not even gonna respond to them, because I feel like if I respond now, I'm gonna be responding emotionally. And I also think their response is emotional, and they don't have the maturity to sit in what they said, to sit there and text me what they text me. That just tells me you responding emotionally right now. You're not responding with much thought. Okay? So yeah, I just had to get on here and vent for a minute with y'all. And that's what people don't get on the pod. On the pod, we strictly business over there. Outline, we ain't getting off of it, and I'm not playing about it. So yeah, there's a sound. There's something that's going off like do-do-do-do in my room, and I don't know what it is. I wish I knew what it was, because I don't want it going off. You heard it? It's like meow, meow, meow. And I don't know what that is. I wish I knew where that sound was coming from, because it's definitely going to interrupt me recording. Where is it coming from? Oh, I think I know what it is. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming. I know exactly what it is. Oh, I found it. Let me turn it off. There we go. Sorry about that. I found it. See, this is where I wish I could edit this out. But y'all alright. Okay. But anyway, I just had to vent about that for a minute. And let me tell y'all another thing while we're on YouTube, before I get onto the pod. Don't let people guilt trip you into doing things. I'm talking whether it's family, friends, whatever it is. Like, thank you, Jesus. I'm so locked in with God, and I want to continue. It's not like I was listening to a sermon. It's not like I can go to Him in the morning and at night. I need to go to God every moment of the day that I feel like I'm retreating back to my people-pleasing ways, or not calling out my boundaries and restating them, because people love to keep crossing the boundaries I'm setting in place, and I have to constantly repeat them over and over again. But I'd rather do that than to not, because they're not gonna get the point. And I'm realizing if you are feeling some way about my boundaries, then I don't know what else to tell you. And I'm a very honest person. I know my weaknesses, I know my strengths, and I'm able to convey those things. And I understand a lot of people might feel like, oh, you should just toughen up and stick through things. I was like, yeah, I know the stuff I need to toughen up through, and I know the stuff that I don't need to toughen up through, and I know when I need to express how I'm feeling. And if that's not something that you can get with, that's okay. A friend of mine sent me an article by Warren Buffett, and it was talking about how he only worked with people who make him happy. And that's legit. And I feel like people be so quick to be so concerned about how much money they're making in a partnership, but everybody you should not be partnering with. And I speak from a spiritual standpoint of, I only want to work with the people God want me to work with. Like, for real. I was about to say low key, but no, high key. I want people to clearly, very understand. I pray that God sends me the people that we make each other happy. Okay? I don't want it to be a power grab, because when I'm doing something or for you or with you, it is not about us. It's about what God wants me to do for the people. And that is what it is. I'm not living this life selfishly. Like, and people might say, well, you might be doing this for you. And I'm like, no, I don't do this for me. I'm thankful that I love doing it. At the end of the day, it's God's grace and mercy and power in our relationship that gives me the energy to do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly how I feel about everything. I only want to be in relationships. I only want to be in any type of dynamic in my business. I only want to work with people that are genuinely going to make me happy. Because let me tell y'all, if you're in situations that's not making you happy, you can get out. You have a choice. But if you're in situations, society can be real quick to be like, it's going to be plenty of times where you got to work with people you don't like to make money. Who said that? I'm not living by that. I want God to be like, here, these are the things I'm putting in place. These are the people I'm putting in place for you to get it done. Will there be disagreements? 100%. But if we're coming from a space of respecting, you know your strength, I know my strengths, you know your weaknesses, I know my weaknesses, and we can play off that to help build each other up. But don't downplay me when I'm having a moment of doing something I'm conveying to you I don't understand. So you would rather me do something and be in resentment? No, not happening. Not happening. And that's a life by design. Let me get into this episode with y'all. You two, y'all getting some juice today. And if people ain't watching it, they missing out. But yeah. So we're going to get into recording. Oh, and I appreciate you guys sticking through me last week. Thank God I got my voice back. That makes everything easier when you got your voice back. All right, let's go. What up, crew? What's good? It's your girl Sade. Yes, and we are ready for another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast. It is on and popping. Ooh. I am super excited to record this episode, and it's the end of our Brene Brown, The Gift of Imperfection book. Yeah, we're doing GuidePost 10 today, cultivating laughter, song, and dance, letting go of being cool and always in control. And then, before we even get into the show, I have to ask you guys, how are you feeling? I hope you're feeling good and feeling great. Hey, but if you are not feeling good, you like, child, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. Hopefully at the end of this pod, you will be ready to cultivate your life and take over the world and lose control, but also gain control of yourself to be able to push through whatever you're experiencing, okay? All right. So before we get into the book, you already know we got to start off with one of my favorite and one of your favorite segments. Who Gon Check Me Boo? God is. And I feel like every time I say that, I gotta say it like Sheree on the Housewives. Who gon' check me, boo? God is, and He is always checking us. All right, so this check literally came to me right before I got on here to do the pod. It was inspired by a sermon by Stephen Furtick at Elevation Worship. And I listened to him on the podcast version, and it was talking about God's got your back. Super, so far so good. I got like 15 minutes left of the sermon. The who gonna check me moment came from the scripture he provided, and it was Isaiah chapter 30, verse 19 through 22. And it says, people of Zion who live in Jerusalem, you will weep no more. And I'm going to just make it personal in my life. Sade, who lives in Florida, you will weep no more. Okay? You make it personal for yourself. Y'all ever read the Bible like that? I do. Okay. How gracious he will be when you cry for help. As soon as He hears, He will answer you. Although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teachers will be hidden no more. With your own eyes, you will see them. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Then you will desecrate your idols overlaid with silver and your images covered with gold. You will throw them away like a menstrual cloth and say to them, away with you. Ooh, y'all. The part when he was like, whether you turn to your right or to your left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Oh, this checked me so much because in life, and I'm going to make this personal, in my life, there's things that I am doing that's not the most, it might look glamorous, but it's a lot of work. And it doesn't always end in a huge payday. So I'm genuinely doing the things that I want to do for the love of it. And there's a lot of times where I don't know which way to go. And in those moments, I cry. I get depressed. I get upset. And I like to shut down. And I'm trying to not get to the point of shutting down and letting my emotions overtake and feeding myself the word of God, the books that I read, and then putting myself in environments that's going to lift me up. And recognizing when and what to do is all of part of that discernment with God. But it's just good. It's so good to know that no matter where I am led, I have God having my back. And He's telling me this is the way and this is how I want you to walk in it. And it's nothing like having that relationship with Him when you get discouraged. And in the sermon, Pastor Stephen was talking about, not just going to Him 5 minutes at the beginning when I wake up, oh, thank you, God, wake up, guide me, and I'm out. I'm like, I gotta go to you all the time. And I gotta go to you sooner than later. Because what we tend to do, like he said in the sermon, we'll call everybody in our call list, doctors and everybody else, instead of taking, and then it's like, oh, well, I called everybody else, now let me call God. And it's like, no, sis, God needs to be your first call. Okay? And today, with something that came up with me, while I'm listening to this sermon, I was just like, I'm not going to respond. God said, don't respond. And I went to him and I continued about my day. So I won't be coming from a place of emotions. I'm coming from a place of, what do God want me to do? How does he want me to walk in it? And it could be a career. It could be a friendship, intimate relationship. But before you walk into anything, I just feel like, I know you need to get God's confirmation. Because those very things that we don't get confirmation in him from, we could be hitting a brick wall. So yeah, that was the Who Gon Check Me Boo. God is Isaiah 30, verses 19 through 22. Whew. I'm going to read the rest of this, because even when I ended the verses 22, I was like, he starts off in 23. He will also send you rain for the seed you sow in the ground. And I was just like, oh, I want to continue reading. But then I was like, I got to stay on schedule today to get back into the swing of things and record the pod. But I'll definitely be going back to read more of Isaiah 30. All right. So I just want to say thank you so much for all your crew love, the resharing on Instagrams, the following on fan base is really popping. I'm getting better at TikTok. Okay, it's a whole beast, but whatever. I'm gonna just post it and keep it moving, right? And I mostly be very active on our Instagram, and all of our socials is the Crew Book Club. At the Crew Book Club, and that's it. Easy to find. You can also click down in the show notes, and I have links to the books. I also have links to Audible, where the books that we listen to, you can order them there and read them, because they be so good. But I still highly recommend getting them so you can highlight and refer back to them as well. And so yeah, thank you for the crew love. And if you can, please, not if you can, y'all show your girls some crew love. Leave a review in the Apple podcast. You can do 5 stars and written. If you do a written review, I will share it on the pod. And also on Spotify, you can leave 5 stars. So thank you so much. All right. So let's get into the book. All right. We are ending it with the GuidePost GuidePost 10, Cultivating Laughter, Song, and Dance. Letting go of being cool and always in control. When y'all go out, are y'all the people who stand on a wall and babysit your drink? Are you the person who goes out in the dance floor and be dancing and not caring what nobody thinks? I'm both. When I first go out somewhere and it's like a club that I'm not used to or whatever, I might, and let me pause. I don't go out to clubs all the time. Let me take that off the burner. In events like a street party or maybe someone's wedding or at a barbecue, are you the one who gonna cut a rug? I'm saying my age. 30 people in mid-30s say cut a rug. Anyway, do you go out and dance? I'm gonna tell you, it's a few artists that's gonna always get me on the dance floor. It's Beyonce, Lil Jon, like any of those crunk songs, and then I'm a good Meat Mill song, get me real hype. So y'all like a little, you put on some Meg Thee Stallion, I'm getting on the dance floor. But anywho, I am the person who will go out and dance, and I don't be caring what nobody think. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to ask that question. But on page 149, 158, it talks about why is laughter, song, and dance so important to us? And is there some transformational element that they have in common? And this goes back to like having fun and playing. I love dancing, girl. Saturday mornings, sometimes music is up and popping, and before I start cleaning, I'm dancing. And it's also a good form of exercising for fun. All right. She says here, I'm convinced that there's a song, a dance, and a path to laughter for every human emotion. I totally agree. It says, laughter, song, and dance create emotional and spiritual connections. They remind us of one thing that truly matters when we're searching for comfort, celebration, inspiration, or healing. We are not alone. Laughter is a spiritual form of communing. Without words, we can say to one another, I'm with you and I get it. You ever go to a concert and you be locked in and everybody be tuned in and you're just watching everybody and they get the vibes? You don't even have to say anything. You just understand. True laughter is not the use of humor as self-deprecation or deflection. It's not that kind of painful laughter. Knowing laughter embodies the relief and connection we experience when we realize the power of sharing our stories. We're not laughing at each other, but with each other. I want to talk about true laughter is not the use of humor or self-deprecation or deflection. It's not a kind of painful laughter. I am the person, like if I'm on a call or something and you say something that kind of hit or whatever in the conversation, I'm the person, sometimes I laugh when I get nervous. So and I laugh at awkward times, like in the movies if something sad is happening, but if I might be laughing as a distraction, I don't know. But but that nervous laugh or like, like I do that. And I remember I had a friend say, no, I'm being serious. I'm not being funny. And I'm like, no. That's just me and my mind, me like agreeing with you. I have that kind of laugh. I don't know what it's called. But yes, I'm the person who can laugh at awkward moments. So don't get offended if I ever chuckle or something when something serious is happening. It's just like me processing or whatever. Okay. And also about songs, she says, not everyone shares the same passion for music, but the one thing that is universal about song is ability to move us emotionally. It is so true. I feel like if we can't relate to anything, music brings all of us together, no matter our political stance, no matter whatever. When certain songs come on, no matter what is happening, it can get people going. Look what people like Michael Jackson did and bringing all those different races and people together. Like, mad respect, okay? So I love that. And even you realize how much a song can change a movie. She talks about that in the book too. So appreciating laughter in song is so important. And I don't know about y'all, but I have a soundtrack to my life. Like when I'm in a certain mood, I have like different playlists that I turn on. Do y'all do that? Anyway, dancing. It says, it didn't take me long to learn that dance is a tough issue for many people. Laughing hysterically can make you feel a little out of control, and singing out loud can make some of us feel self-conscious. But for many of us, there is no form of self-expression that makes us feel more vulnerable than dancing. It's literally full body vulnerability. I don't know why this just came to mind, but I think back, like when I'm in church, I be so locked in. I'll be singing so loudly. I don't care if I'm off key, but then also, you get a little dance and you're not really thinking about that because for me, I'm in tune with God. But I feel like as a people, we struggle with the vulnerability of dancing when we're out. Like I was talking about, like at clubs. It's just like, y'all know y'all want to get out here and dance, but you're too cool for school. Okay, and that's why this chapter is important. It's about letting go of being cool and always in control. She says here, for many people, risking that kind of public vulnerability is too difficult. So they dance at home or only in front of people they care about. For others, the vulnerability is the crushing that they don't dance at all. Y'all remember that video on YouTube? I mean, not YouTube. It's probably on YouTube. But on Instagram and social media that was going around about all the black men and they were all dancing and supporting each other. And I felt like that was the most beautiful thing because black men just have this, like, I gotta be hard and da-da-da-da-da. It's just like, no. Y'all ever watch, like, people at men in Carnival or Jamaica or whatever? They're, like, dancing. I miss that. I don't know what happened in the States where the culture is like, go to the club and just mean mug. But I'm tired of that. We need to dance. And I feel like allowing that to be vulnerable. And I understand sometimes people say, well, nah, I got to be on beat at the club. I'm like, well, please, let's. That's why we don't go no more. Because it ain't even about dancing. It's about status, what you got on, and not really having a good time. So I'd rather just have fun at the crib. Or with people. Like she said, dance at home or only in front of people we care about. All right? She says here, until we teach our children that they need to be concerned with how they look and with what other people think, they dance. So true. Think of us as kids. I'm pretty sure y'all have weird, funny, crazy videos of your kids dancing. Unfortunately, so we didn't have like cell phones like that and portable video cameras where our parents probably caught all of that. But I'm pretty sure we were dancing and living freely. You know what I'm saying? And then we try to tell them, oh, stop doing that because you look crazy. It's like, no, let that kid live. You probably need to be out there dancing with your kid, okay? We can learn a lot. She says, like in a reference to the writer Mary Jo Putney says, what one loves in childhood stays in the heart forever. And I always say this, we are always a child of God. And we should be more childlike in that sense to have more fun. We can learn a lot from our kids. You know what I'm saying? So you are never too old to be young, okay? On page 134, she says, there are many shame triggers around the vulnerability of laughing, song, and dance. The list includes the fear of being perceived as awkward, goofy, silly, spastic, uncool, I probably said it wrong, out of control, immature, stupid, and foolish. Oh, I hate that we feel that way. Wanting to be perceived as cool is our effort to minimize vulnerability in order to reduce the risk of being ridiculed or made fun of. Being in control isn't always about the desire to manipulate situations, but it's about the need to manage perception. We want to be able to control what other people think about us so that we can feel good enough. Woo. It's so funny because, like, to dance and do song, it's like you always feel good doing it. And it's like, why would you want to control that? Do y'all have that? Do y'all have that where it's like being goofy or feeling like, oh, I can't say that because I don't want to look crazy or I don't want to be perceived not cool? It's like, let it go. Let that go. I think if we let go of the status of what cool looks like, we will have a more fulfilled society in life because we wouldn't be worrying about whether we awkward, goofy, or silly. I remember I was out one night in Miami, and it was like this group of white guys. And no shade to my white folks, but a lot of y'all don't have no rhythm. And I saw this guy and his other friends was just standing there trying to look cool, drinking whatever. And it was this one guy, and he was just doing the silly offbeat, but he was the only one smiling. And I was like, now that right there is a vibe. He was the only one smiling. And I thought that was the most dopest thing ever to see him in that moment. So the next time you out somewhere and it's a vibe, go ahead and have a good time. You might just have the best time in your life, not paying attention to what everybody else is doing, but you're laughing, you're dancing, and having a good time and singing out loud to your favorite song. I feel like I'm always the best when I'm doing that and having fun. So yeah, let go of that control, okay? She says here, I spent a lot of time and energy working on this. It's a slow process. I'm still only super silly and goofy around people I trust, but I think that's okay. I'm also working hard not to pass this down to my kids. It's easy to do when we're not mindful of the gremlins and shame triggers. Let me tell y'all, the people who pick on people about doing something, trust me, they want to be doing that. They're a gremlin, and you're triggering something within them that they wish that they can do. I remember being at a wedding, and I was just getting the side eye from this one particular person, but I didn't even let that stop me. I continue to dance, I continue to be me and to do my thing. I can't help if I make you feel uncomfortable. That is a you problem. Okay? So I ain't taking nothing personal. I don't even be mad. It'd be a shame or whatnot, but I don't be mad about it. And that goes back to a post I actually made today, which was a few days ago when you're listening to this. I had said, where did it go? I said, there's always room at my table. It's your insecurities that keeps you disabled, by the great Nasir, the rapper Nas. And I really love that, because when you're looking at somebody having a good time, laughing, dancing, or singing out loud, don't be hating. It's your own insecurities that's keeping you from enjoying the moment just as they are. So let go of control and stop always trying to be the quote-unquote cool kid. I love this GuidePost. This is really, really good. Now let's get into the final thoughts of the book. And these were the key points that really hit for me. The final thoughts. The truth, and that's starting on page 159. She says, the truth is that meaningful change is a process, y'all. Pause. This is a process. These are things that you have to practice and continue to do. So don't think you're going to read one book, go to one therapy session, and it's going to change your life. Okay? 1 second. Okay? It's a process. We got to keep going and keep trying to move upward. All right? She says here, it can be uncomfortable. It's often risky, especially when we're talking about embracing our imperfections. Cultivating authenticity and looking the world in the eye and saying, I am enough. Whew. Wholehearted living is about engaging in our lives from a place of worthiness. It's about cultivating the courage, compassion, and connection to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I am enough. All right? And this is where it's like, I had posted about my could do and my should do list. And one of the ways that helped me feel purposeful of my day and enough is having a plan and writing it down. So if you constantly are going to bed and you're like, I don't feel like I accomplished anything, maybe you should be planning your day better and prioritizing what makes you feel accomplished and do those things, you know? So also on page 161 for final thoughts, I'm going to leave with this. Choosing to live in love with our whole hearts is an act of defiance. You're going to confuse, piss off, and terrify lots of people. Let me start over so that's very clear. Choosing to live in love with our whole hearts is an act of defiance. Okay? You're going to confuse, piss off, and terrify lots of people, including yourself. 1 minute you'll pray that the transformation stops, and the next minute you'll pray that it never ends. You're always wondering how you can feel so brave and so afraid at the same time. I experience this daily, and I remember on Eat, Slay, Pray, I think, Sarah J. Roberts' sermon. I hope I got the sermon title right. She said something to me. She said, there's people, you're too far to go back, but not far enough to keep going forward. Because your mind won't let you stop. And I feel like that's exactly what Brene Brown is saying in this. 1 minute, you're going to pray the transformation stops, and the next minute, you'll pray it never ends. And that part about you're going to confuse, piss off, and terrify a lot of people as you grow and elevate and take on your imperfections. Just remember, when people get upset with you or confused, just understand this is different for them. And you're being defiant against the status quo on what success should look like, on what living should look like, and coming from your heart. And there's another, I follow so many inspirational people, because that's what I cultivated my social media to be. So when I do get on here, I'm encouraged and not like I'm not hating or I'm not feeling sad. I'm more so like, girl, get up, you can do this, keep going, and things that are motivating me. That's because I stopped following things like the Shade Room or Hollywood Unlocked. I stopped following certain celebrities that didn't think like me. You know what I'm saying? In the places I'm trying to grow, and I started following people who embrace their imperfections. I started people who understood, like, you're not always gonna be on 10 every day, and there's depression and there's sadness and there's days where you want to ball up and cry. You feel your feels and you keep going. Like, you can curate your social medias. You don't always have to be engaged in those things. And honestly, since I've done that, my feed be a lot better. Do I take breaks and cut it off at a certain time at night? Yes, I definitely try to do that, because it's not always good to be on there all the time. But when I am on there, I'm working and I'm getting motivated. All right? So yeah, those are my final thoughts and everything about embracing the gifts of imperfections. This book was just really good and transformative for me, and it allowed me to look at life differently and accept that this is going against the grain, and that's okay. And I'm going to choose to live and love wholeheartedly. All right? Now, if you're struggling with that, because it's such a difference in how people handle you and how you handle people, therapy has been one of the biggest things that have helped me, because through my transformation has been great. It is challenging when it comes to certain relationships and people, because I come from a place of people pleasing. And since I'm a former people pleaser, the people are not used to me expressing my boundaries and sticking to them. It's a lot, and I feel alone and by myself. And so I'm getting back into therapy, because I did take a break. I tell y'all, I take these breaks where I'm in therapy like every week, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good, and then I feel solidified. And then it's like the moments where I feel like, okay, I can feel the breakdown happening, I can feel I can feel the depression about to come on, because I'm recognizing what's triggering it. And I just messaged my therapist. I'm like, hey, when can I get back in? And I'm about to be going weekly again, because there's something pressing, and I'm in this transition. And I'm not understanding where I'm at sometimes. And I'm recognizing that. And God has guided me all at the same time. And He will make it very clear that it's okay to do therapy. And so, to say all that, I am partnered up with betterhelp.com/crewlove. That's where I go. And I love the fact that you can pick different therapists. They also have financial help for you. BetterHelp is there to help. That's all I can say about that. So go to betterhelp.com/crewlove, and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. My best thing to say is just try. Just try. If it don't work for you, at least you know you tried. Okay? That's the best I can say. And because I used to be, I don't need therapy. But I'm going to tell you, when I tried it and I found the right therapist for me, it has been the most transformational thing I've ever experienced. And like I always told you, I'm never going to partner up with a brand for the bag. I want to partner up with brands that make sense for you. Okay, so betterhelp.com/crewlove. It'll also be in the show notes. And if you forget the /crewlove part and you go to BetterHelp, when you go to checkout, I think you just put the code in, crewlove, to get your 10% off. All right? All right. So, challenge of the week, girls. The challenge of the week comes from page 158. All right? Get inspired section. All right. I love this challenge of the week because I've done this challenge. I told you I don't give challenge I don't do. All right. Make a theme playlist. She says here on page 158. I love making theme playlists, groups of songs that I want to listen to when I'm feeling a certain way. I have everything from my playlist called God on the iPod to Run Like You Mean It list. My favorite is my Authentic Me list, the songs that make me feel most like myself. So your challenge this week is to curate a playlist that pertains to your needs, something that make you feel good and things of that nature. So I have a few playlists. I'm gonna read my playlist. So I have my Mary J. Blige Essentials. I don't know, it's just something about turning on Mary. She makes you feel all the feels, from Percolator to No More Drama to Good Morning Gorgeous. I love her Essential playlist. I also have my Realtor playlist where I get songs that I play to get hyped before I go to a listing presentation or a buyer's presentation or a closing. And then I have my faves. That's just overall favorites. And then I have my empowerment motivational. That's with Automatic Woman. All I Do Is Win. I have my turn up playlist. They got some Meg on there, some Cardi. It got just a mix of things where I want to turn up. And I love doing those type of playlists. So, and I also have my gospel playlist. Don't get it twisted. I have my favorite gospel songs, my soulful gospel, and my contemporary gospel. So yeah, this week I want you to curate your playlist, make a theme, so you know you got something you can turn on when you feeling in your feels and you need to get hyped. You can do that real quick. So you know, have the things in place that you know are going to make you feel good when you're not in a place of not feeling good. All right, so let's get into what would the crew do. Ew, the crew, what would y'all do? So I ripped this straight from the headlines, my loves. I was having a conversation about a lady who left a guy after winning the lottery, and I'm pretty sure y'all all heard this. Let me see if I can give a little back on the article. Basically, she was with this guy for 4 years, and I think she used her debit card to buy the ticket. And you can't, even if you're the person who brought the ticket with somebody else's debit card, it has to be with the person who debit card it came from. So after winning the lottery ticket, she dumped him. And I was having a conversation with somebody about this, and I was like, what would y'all do? My thoughts were, obviously, there had to be problems or something beneficial in a relationship where maybe she felt stuck or obligated to care for him or something like that. But if somebody leaves you because of money, I don't think you should be mad about it. I think he's more mad about the fact that it's the money. If she would have just left without it, then it would have been fine. But I think they were like in the middle. It says here they were in the middle of buying a house, continue to pay the mortgage that they lived in for 7 years. She moved in with me rent free, and we were happy with that arrangement. And I planned to rent my place out. I was paying my mortgage and bills, and she was paying for food, the dogs, and insurance. See, and this is what you agreed to. And I feel like a lot of times people agree to things upon the contingent of getting something back. But I feel like if they would have broke up in this scenario, it would have been fine. But because it was about the money, it's an issue. Now, let me tell you, I do think she should break him off something. Don't get me wrong. Like, because then it feel like you were using the person. Even if you were using them to get where you needed to go. And that's a whole nother conversation. But at least have some morality and integrity to give the person at least back what they helped you with or more. See, me, if you feeling that type of way and you felt like you want to leave or couldn't leave and you felt stuck, okay, cool. And you felt like if you were honest about your emotions and that person probably would have held that against you. You never know everybody's situation. One, she hasn't spoken out. You don't know her side. But at the same time, I just feel like if you leave me because you became wealthy, I want you to leave. If you don't give me anything, that's okay. God will take care of me. But at the same time, if I was a person who left, I would definitely make sure I took care of the person who took care of me. That's just me. That was my thoughts, my opinions. I wonder what y'all think. Definitely DM me on the Instagram fan base or on YouTube and be like, girl, I would have da 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 da, or hell no, I ain't giving him nothing. I needed what I needed to get and I'm out. But yeah, I kind of feel like if he was really helping you and doing what he said he did, and with the money that she got, I would write him a nice little check for the rent between the years I stayed there. And I would ask him, what amount do you feel, without being overzealous, what amount do you feel I will owe you for the expenses that I took up? And then I would maybe drop I would sprinkle a couple mil or whatever on that. Or a couple 100,000 or not. But yeah, I really wanted to speak on that. So I took that from the headlines. I wonder what would you do? Drop a comment on our social media and let's talk about it. Let me know. All right. So, we can't end the episode without giving you a quote of the week. And the quote of the week comes from an unknown author. I found this strolling online. It says, the word imperfect actually spells I'm perfect, because everyone is perfect in their own imperfect ways. Oh, yes. So I want you guys to go out, accept your gifts of imperfections, and accept that you're imperfect, but you are perfect in your own imperfect way. Thanks for hanging with the Crew Book Club podcast, and I will see you all next week right here. Hey!